In 2025, the Las Vegas Raiders truly suck. That is 100% fact. And one of the interesting things with the Raiders this season is, for as bad as they are on the field, off the field is kind of getting bad as well. In yesterday's presser, Pete Carroll was visibly upset over a question he was asked, and I felt like the question was pretty straightforward. I want you guys to watch this, about a minute long, and we'll talk about this on the other side.
Pete, when you look at this offense and all the changes that came in the offseason, if there isn't some type of changes, is there a concern that you can send the message that there isn't accountability for the offense and it's being anemic?
I don't have a chance at understanding what that question was. So try it again, please.
Yes, sir. Is there a concern with all the changes that were made to the offense this season to fix how bad it was last year, and it's still struggling, that if you don't make changes to your offense, there's going to be concerns that it's not being held accountable like other areas of the team?
No, I don't. It's the last part of that question that I don't even know how to address. We're gonna take a look at everything we're doing, which is what we do on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis, and we don't know. That's the only way you do it, so. As you're looking at this question to project in the future how we're going to look back at how we didn't get anything done, I really don't have a good answer for you. But every step we take, and I took the accountability. This is my football team, and I had a chance to do something on offense in this game, and we went after it. And some of it was promising, and some of it didn't work out in balance-wise.
Now, that question was asked by Hondo Carpenter, who's a beat writer for the Las Vegas Raiders. And to me, it was a pretty straightforward question. Hondo Carpenter was basically saying, hey, you're not really holding people accountable. And are you concerned that you could potentially be fired because other people might look at it, at you specifically, Pete Carroll, and say that you're not holding the right people accountable? Hondo Carpenter was basically implying, you've held some people accountable, but not the people that are truly to blame. And this has been the Las Vegas Raiders season. The Raiders literally had Caleb Rogers starting, and he made apparently a mistake in practice, and because he made that mistake, he apparently got pulled. And not only did he get pulled, he didn't start, but then he was a healthy scratch in a game in which Will Putnam and Jordan Meredith were your two starting interior guys. To me, the Raiders' offensive line was garbage yesterday, and I have about 10 clips that we're going to watch. We'll break it down at the end of this video. But to me, that type of mistake right there, to say Caleb Rogers, a rookie, had a struggling moment in practice. Practice is meant to fix those struggling moments. Is to tell a guy what you're struggling with. Now, if he's a bad football player, it's completely different. Right? Like if he lined up against Adam Butler and Adam Butler kicked his ass, that's different. But again, keep in mind, it's practice. They're not going 100% full speed. These guys aren't trying to get to the quarterback. I find it weird that Caleb Rogers was supposed to be our starter coming into this week, and then he apparently got pulled for something that happened at practice. I don't like this. I think this is bad coaching at the top. And Hondo Carpenter's question could not apply more to Pete Carroll. And I don't think Pete Carroll actually recognizes this. Pete Carroll is definitely on the hot seat. John Spytek is not a dumb general manager. Tom Brady is not a dumb person. And Tom Brady's, helping Mark Davis kind of get through this moment. Tom Brady is at the top and kind of directing Mark Davis on kind of what to do. Keep in mind, I don't think Pete Carroll's leash is as long as John Spytek's leash is, and I don't think Pete Carroll actually understands that. Pete Carroll is holding some people accountable, but not everybody. And when he's asked about it, it kind of just goes all over the place. Like his answer doesn't really make sense to me. And maybe he just didn't understand that question. But it's also getting to Geno Smith a little bit. And I don't know if it's getting to Geno Smith, to be honest. I've watched every single one of Geno Smith and even Pete Carroll and all the pressures that we've had after these games. But Geno Smith was visibly upset yesterday. And he was asked the question, and I want you guys to listen to kind of what he said about why the Las Vegas Raiders are struggling right now and kind of where you can put the blame.
Who like to watch film and take screenshots and see where guys are open. So I'm sure you guys will see where the guys were open. For me, again, I just got to play better. And I keep saying this, man. If something don't look right out there, blame it on me, right? If it don't look right, blame it on me. That's all you can do. Blame it on me. If your kids mess up at school, blame it on me. Car break down going to work, blame it on me.
Now, I personally took offense to that. I'm not going to lie, right? I think he's talking about me when he's saying the Monday morning quarterbacks and the screenshot people. So that's kind of offensive, not going to lie. But, I understand what Geno Smith's saying here. He's saying, guys, we're open and we got to make the plays. And at no point does he actually blame where I think the biggest issue for the Raiders is, I think for the Raiders, Geno Smith taking the blame is just him not wanting to call people out. But the offensive line is truly terrible. And I understand why Geno Smith's not wanting to call the offensive line out. You can't really make changes at this point that are going to somehow give you a top 10 offensive line. You might be able to bring Kolton Miller back. Maybe that helps your offensive line a little bit. But you can't fix the Will Putnam, the Jordan Meredith, the Dylan Parham, the DJ Glaze. You can't fix those issues. That's not going anywhere. That's going to be here for the rest of the season. You can only do that in the team building process, which is obviously going to be the offseason. And we're still a couple weeks away from that point. And of course, Geno Smith in that entire segment, and the viral part of it is if something doesn't look right, essentially blame it on me. If your kids mess up in school, blame it on me. If your car breaks down, blame it on me. And of course, he's laughing as he's kind of saying it. Some people have posted saying that, hey, Geno Smith's a terrible quarterback. And I'm not saying he's been absolutely great, but we have seen Geno Smith have success in the past. And I also do think we've seen moments of success this season. And of course, that was with a healthy offensive line. That was with a group of guys that I think, what our offensive line looks like right now is not what it was like 4 weeks ago, or even when Kolton Miller was healthy. But I do want to talk a little bit about the offensive line. I want to watch some of the tape because I truly do think this offensive line is one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen. Let's watch some tape, and then we'll talk about this on the other side. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and just get into some of these plays. Keep in mind there's a bunch of these that we're going to kind of look at, and we're going to just go through them. I don't want to get into anything too crazy, and we'll just talk about it, man. So, again, first play right here, keep an eye on the right guard, Jordan Meredith. This is Osa Odigizua, who he's lined up across. Look at that. Straight up just gets swam right over. It is so simple. Keep in mind the quarterback has what is called a 7-step drop on this. Okay, I'm going to back this up one more time. Watch the quarterback's steps here. He's going to play action this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And when he hits that 7-step drop, he's supposed to get his eyes downfield. Then you have, I believe that's Dante Thornton running right there. You probably have a couple other guys running downfield. You do have multiple blockers in. Michael Mayer stays in. Ashton Jeanty's going to stay in to chip. And even Brock Bowers chips over here to the left side. And yet, on the 7th step, Geno Smith has literally 2 guys in his face. Both Osa Odigizua and Quinnen Williams are going to get in there. Now, Osa obviously beats the right guard. Watch Quinnen Williams on the other side. He's going to split the double team. I mean, how as a quarterback do you perform with that as your offensive lineman? Let's get into the next play. The next play, once again, Jordan Meredith's going to just get straight beat right away at the point of attack. As a quarterback, what do you do here? Keep an eye here on Jordan Meredith. Once again, you got Kenny Clark this time. And look at this. Swipe, arm over the top, and just like that, you're in the backfield. Again, as a quarterback, what do you do on these type of plays, right? Keep an eye here on the center. He's going to have number 97, Osa Odigizua. And watch once again right here. It's just going to be basically bull rush power. What do you do here if you're Geno Smith? Keep an eye over here on the right side. You're going to get pressured. DJ Glaze kind of just gets beat as well. I believe that's James Houston right there. What do you do if you're Geno Smith? You're dropping back and you're getting pressured and basically beat pretty quickly. Here's a run play that we have. Keep an eye here on the Las Vegas Raiders starting center. He was so great as a center that the Raiders moved Jordan Meredith to right guard, which is wild because they didn't do that for Jackson Powers-Johnson. Regardless, watch him just get straight beat. Straight beat. Kenny Clark just goes right through him. That's embarrassing, man. I feel embarrassed. Not going to lie to you guys, man. Here's another one. As a quarterback, some people look at this play and say, hey, the quarterback's just checking it down. He's not making his read. This is a bad play by the quarterback. Why are you checking it down? Throw it to Brock Bowers. Throw it to Tyler Lockett. Throw it downfield. Try picking up 20, 30, 40 yards at a time. The thing is as a quarterback, you feel pressure. When this happens right here, when number 92 is going to beat you this quickly, and you're feeling this as a quarterback, there is no reading downfield. There is no keeping your eyes downfield. It is literally get the ball out, because the alternative is you're going to get sacked, you're going to get hit. Get the ball out, maybe you pick up 2-3 yards. So as a quarterback, there's not a whole lot you can do on some of these type of plays, right? Just getting the ball out to get it out. Here's another one. On this one, you're going to get the center, Will Putnam. Ends up getting beat. You keep an eye, let me just back this up one more time. Keep an eye here on 67. He's going to pick up Quinnen Williams. straight up gets beat. Again, there's nothing you can do on these type of plays. On this one here, Dylan Parham also ends up getting beat. Parham's going to wait for the blitzing linebacker, and, he just kind of gets shook. Again, this is bad football by the Raiders. You know, it's crazy because I watched the Cowboys offensive line. I was watching the Raiders defense. And the Cowboys offensive line, it's incredible, man. You watch Tyler Smith at left guard. You watch Cooper Beebe at center. You watch Tyler Booker at right guard. Like, Dak Prescott just chills back there in the pocket. No pressure on the inside. He chills in the pocket. The tackles push their guys upfield. Dak Prescott has all day to throw the football. And then on the other side of it, Geno Smith, it's just pressure after pressure after pressure. On this one here, it's going to be Jordan Meredith who ends up getting beat. But you guys see the pressure comes from a couple different people. Again, there's routes developing downfield, and you can always say, hey, Geno, throw it quicker. But then you're throwing it for like 2 yards at a time. Here's a shot play that the Raiders are going to design. It's a fake pitch to Ashton Jeanty. They're going to even pull, I believe it's Dylan Parham. So Dylan Parham pulls, it's the fake. And it's a shot play that's essentially designed, but Putnam's going to get beat by Quinnen Williams. And I understand Quinnen Williams is a great defensive tackle. Don't get me wrong. But I can guarantee you guys, if JPJ was healthy and he was a starting center for the Raiders, he's going to be able to block a guy like Quinnen Williams. Right? He would have more plays against him than kind of what we're seeing here. Here's a play in which you're going to get a defensive line game on the right side, right guard, right tackle. They're not going to be able to pick this up. And it's just too quick. The pressure's way too quick here. And even the left tackle ends up getting beat on this one. Now, Stone Forsythe, I think, has been better than DJ Glaze in the time that he started. But he's also not a starting caliber offensive tackle. Like, we don't have one starting caliber offensive lineman out there. On this one here, I don't know what DJ Glaze is doing. This one doesn't make sense to me. So you're going to get a run stunt over here. To me, I would think he takes the inside threat, which would be the defensive end that's going to slant inside. He doesn't, and that's the guy that's going to make the play. I believe that's Donovan Ezaraku, the second-round pick. And then I think that's Miros Leofeld, linebacker. So he slants inside. I don't know why DJ Glaze doesn't pick the inside up. And that's the guy that kind of gets in there. And it's not just him. If you guys keep an eye here on Stone Forsythe, Osa's going to throw him out of there. Watch this. Watch this defense tackle. Bam. Throw his ass out of there. To me, this is just bad. This is bad football right here by the Raiders. And I don't know how this stuff gets corrected. Because as a quarterback, what do you do? What do you do for Geno Smith? And Geno takes the blame, and sometimes I just wish he would just put it out there saying, hey, this offense line sucks. Like, this is not a starting caliber unit. Aaron Rodgers calls his offense lineman out all the time when they struggle. I wish Geno Smith would do that at some point, but he's way too nice. But look at Stone Forsythe on this one. I believe that's James Houston. Actually, might be Jadeveon Clowney. But, that's just too quick. As a quarterback, you literally have no way to be able to get this pass out. If you do throw this, if you're Geno Smith, you're throwing 50-50 passes. That's not how you play quarterback. You need guys to actually come open to be able to throw the pass. On this one here, you're going to get instant pressure once again. DJ Glaze against the defensive end. And once again, just kind of keep in mind this pressure. Quarterback feels it, he's going to check it down. Quarterback has his eyes downfield. If you have more time, you can make the pass downfield. But you don't, right? And on this one here, you only pick up a couple yards. Another play here, it's just bad, right? It's bad all around. Now on this one here, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I don't love the play call because you're overloaded over to the right. You have a defensive end already way out here. You have a 3 technique. You have a nose, and then on top of that, now you have a free linebacker essentially as well, shaded to the right side of the center. So you have a bunch of guys over there. To me, this play does not make sense. Now, do keep in mind the Cowboys did stack the box, and they said we're going to stop the run, which was part of why the Raiders were not able to run the football. But, I think the bubble is probably in between here if you're going to try running the football. It's definitely not way out here to the right. And this one you could probably put on Geno Smith. I don't know if he has like a check or what it is. But the play had literally no shot. It was never going to work. And they even pulled the guard, so you have even one less guy. All right, so guard pulls this way. You basically have one less guy now at this point. And it just does not work, right? To me, once again, just kind of a bad play design or play call, if you want to call it. So there you guys have it, right? To me, the Las Vegas Raiders offensive line is by far the biggest issue. And Geno Smith even says it. He says, hey, the play calling was not an issue in this game against the Cowboys. There were plays where we could have made plays. There were guys that were open. But he never once says why he was not able to deliver the pass. And to me, watching the tape, it's just so clear why he was not able to deliver the passes. The offensive line is by far the worst offensive line I've ever seen. Like I've watched a lot of tape over the last 4 or 5 years. You know, I scout offensive line for a living, right? It's one of the jobs that I have. And I'm telling you guys, I've never seen an offensive line worse than what the Raiders have right now. At left tackle, we have Stone Forsythe, who could easily be out in the NFL next year. If Pete Carroll's not here, there's a good chance Forsythe is not with the Raiders and he might not get picked up again. If Dylan Parham goes and signs somewhere else, he'll probably sign as a backup or a guy that's kind of competing with 2-3 other guys, so he may not start next year. Will Putnam might not be in the NFL based off of what we saw yesterday. Jordan Meredith, I don't think is all that good. Now, he might still be in the NFL. I don't think he'll start, to be honest. And I think DJ Glaze is the only guy with any sort of upside, but that's definitely not at right tackle. He needs to be moved to the inside, which we'll see if the Raiders make happen at some point as we go forward. Now, when I watch that offensive line, man, 3 of those 5 guys I'm pretty sure won't be in the NFL in 2 years. The other 2 will probably be backups within 2 years. So, again, that offensive line was one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen. And, again, I'm not surprised the Raiders are failing in this moment. You know, there's another report that had come out, and I forget who put it out, but I read it somewhere on Twitter. It came out by a good source. It's not someone that just kind of makes things up. May have been Tristan Kuhn that put this out there, but I think he was referencing actually Ari. I forget Ari's last name, but he's a legit NFL insider. So Tristan Kuhn was kind of referencing what he had said, and I don't know if Ari said this earlier today or yesterday, but basically Ari, who's a legit NFL insider, put it out there saying that, hey, the Raiders are having an issue right now because Pete Carroll wants to go all in right now. He wants to try to win the Super Bowl this season, while John Spytek is building for the future. So John Spytek brought in guys like Charles Grant. He brought in guys like Caleb Rogers. He brought in guys like Dante Thornton Jr. for the future. John Spytek's entire idea of the 2025 NFL draft was for bringing in guys for the future. And I think, based off of what we've kind of seen, that just makes sense, right? Pete Carroll continues to tell us, we're trying to win Super Bowls now. We're not trying to look for the future. He even said it in his presser, and he's kind of angry about it. But he even put it out there in his presser, responding to one of the questions, which is, hey, you guys want to see the rookies. You guys want us to kind of look forward to next season. But us inside the building, we don't do that. We play to win right now, right? We play to win games today. And I understand that idea, but not everybody does. Not every coach does, right? Some coaches are a little bit smarter. They understand kind of what their team is. And if they're going to come back next season, they at least try to understand the NFL draft process. They kind of try to understand things. To me, the Raiders suck, man. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think, man. We will continue to cover the Las Vegas Raiders as we go forward. I'm sure we're going to get a ton of drama. Guys will be fired at some point. So we'll see what ends up happening, man. Let me know what you guys think. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.